Hey guys, welcome to our fifth and final introduction to Java socket video. This is like my fifth time recording this. Something's gone wrong every time, so hopefully this video goes through just fine. So we're coding the server, and where we left off is coding the while connected, what we're doing once a client connects to us. And like I said before, this is going to be basically identical to what the client does when it connects to the server. Same logic, same everything. So real quick, what I want to do is I want to print out real quick that waiting for client input, just so that we see that the connections, everything's been established, and right now all we're doing is waiting for the client to send us a message. Just like everything else, the actual code is going to be inside of a try-catch, with the exception being an IO. I'm going to print that stack trace, and we're going to keep the process alive using a do while loop. Same reasons we did in the client. We're going to keep doing something while some condition's true. And what are we going to do? Well, do you remember in the client how when we coded our while connected, we had two strings. We had the string of what we're sending to the server, and then what the server's sending back to us. Us being the server, because we're just echoing what the client says back to it, we're only going to use one string. And we're going to say, string input message is going to be equal to just a blank string. So what we're going to do is inside of this loop, we're going to be listening for input from the client, and whenever we get input from the client, we're going to set an input string equal to that input. So, or input message equal to that input. So we'll say input message is equal to input.readline. Same thing as in the client. So once we get the message from the client, I want to print it out real quick. So client says, and then I'll concat it with the input message, just so that we can see that that's working. And then, yeah. And then what are we going to do once we get a message from the client? We're going to echo it right back to the client. Now, I know I said that when the server sends a message back, it's going to have that little server in all caps, that little server tag. We're going to add that into the send message method of the server. So we're not actually going to do that right here. Right here, we're just going to say send message, and we're going to pass in the message received to us. So we're going to pass in what the client said to us. We're just going to pass it right into the send message, and then we'll code the send message so that we include the server tag. And then the only thing left to do right here is to code that exit condition. So in the client, the exit condition was when we get the message from the server that says server exit, right? For the server, what the exit condition is going to be is when it gets the message from the client saying exit. So all that's going to be is, while it's not true that input message is equal to exit, we're just going to keep looping through of waiting for input and then shooting that input right back to the client. So as long as the client doesn't say exit, we're just going to keep listening and keep sending that input back to the client, right? That makes sense. So now that that's done, let's go ahead and code our send message method. So private static void send message. And we have a string as a parameter, so string message. What we're going to do here is just the same thing, output.println. And this is where we're going to include that server tag, like we talked about in the previous videos. So when we say send message, we're just going to send that message right back to the client, but we're going to put that little server tag right there, right in front of it. So the only thing we have left to do is code the terminate sessions. Just close our streams once we're done, once the program's finished. Whether that be the way we want it to finish, or an exception's thrown, whatever it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to code that real quick. So private static void terminate session. And then same thing, try catch. So try, and then we'll catch our IO exception. IOE. And then we'll do dot, whoops, not going to do a lambda expression. E.pro, this is IOE. Can't type today, it's like my fifth time recording this video. Alright, so IOE.printf stack trace. So what we're going to do here is the same thing we did in the client. If output's not equal to null, so if it's created, we're going to do output.close. If input is not equal to null, we're going to close our input. If the normal socket, if the connection is not equal to null, we're going to do connection.close. Should always scroll this down for you guys. Connection.close. And if the server socket is not equal to null, we're going to do server socket.close. And then we're going to standard output the all connections have been closed successfully. And then we'll just do a system.exit 0. Wonderful. So let's go ahead and put the terminate session. We'll call that where appropriate. And where it's appropriate to call that is going to be in a finally block right here. So once our exit condition is met, it's going to go ahead and terminate that. And then inside of our two catch blocks over here, we're going to terminate session as well. So that if an error is thrown when we're creating the server, or an error is thrown when we're setting up the streams, it goes and closes what's open and exits the thing so that we can debug and fix what's going on, hopefully. We don't put it inside of the catch block here because it's going to catch that, and then it's going to move on to the execute the next line of code after it's caught. So it's just going to print the stack trace. It's going to move on to the next line of code, which is this finally block, which is going to terminate the session. So we don't have to put terminate session there because it's going to hit terminate session after it catches an exception there. So that's why that happens there. Yeah, so everything else looks coded. Let's go ahead and run it and see if we can get some good echoing back and forth. So let's go ahead and run the server. And I have my terminal thing here way up here so that you can see it because my webcam's like somewhere right here. And one of the first times I recorded the video, this output here was like down here and the webcam covered it up, and I'm like explaining that I'm showing you guys what the output is and stuff like that, and like my face is in the way, and it was just really silly. So that's why that is. So okay, cool. Starting server, the server started. I'm gonna go ahead and connect the client. So let's see what happens. Boom. Attempting to connect, we've connected, setting up the streams, both streams have been connected, awesome. So now we're just waiting on input. Let's check the server. So boom, looks like we got a connection with 127.0.0.1. That's home, that's nowhere like it. Setting up the streams, input, outputs established, beautiful. Now we're just waiting for input from the client. So that means we're free to start typing. So let's say, hey you are awesome. Oh man, look at that. See that? See that little guy right there? It's the server telling me I'm awesome. It's the server telling you you're awesome. I don't know about you, that's the first time I've heard that all week. It's a little bit lifting. Alright, so let's test it a little bit. Let's check the server, make sure. The client says, hey you're awesome. Yup. So let's say a couple more things. Be like, no you. Oh man, now we're going back and forth. Client says no you. Cool. Cool. Everything is working how it's supposed to. Cool. Set my L on my cool. Alright. Let's check the exit conditions, making sure that the client and the server understand when it's supposed to terminate. So we'll send exit across. Server says exit, closes the streams, process finished with exit code 0. That's our system.exit 0. It would do that without us saying system.exit 0. I just like to explicitly define my exit conditions so that it's just what I do. So let's see, on the server side, it says the client says exit, it recognizes that as the exit condition, it closes all the connections, and then it finishes with exit code 0. So it looks like our Echo server is working exactly how we want it to work, which is awesome. So now that that's done, basically in the next set of videos, what we're going to do is we're going to take what we learned here, and we're going to make an actual messenger out of it, a server and client messenger. It'll be single threaded and it'll be in Swing. I know Swing's outdated. JavaFX is tremendously better, but I think doing it in Swing is going to be a great place to start. And then once we make the messenger in Swing, you guys get familiar with that and get familiar with user interface. We'll make a much better messenger using JavaFX. We'll use object input, object output streams, talk about serialization, and it'll be a much better messenger. But for now, what we look forward to is in the next videos, we're going to be making, using what we learned here and making a messenger in Swing, a fully functional messenger in Java Swing. So until then, thanks for coming. I hope you guys enjoyed the videos, and we'll see you then.